It's really a humbling honor to follow in the footsteps on this stage with Mr. Ed Stone, truly a remarkable individual with so much he's given us and continues to give us with the missions he's set forth and the inspiration he's given to hopefully many of the people in this room and the future generations to continue exploring. It was 45 years ago today that we watched, or people a little older than I am watched, Walter Cronkite announcing and witnessing televisions around the globe as human beings launched from this planet, destined to land on a not-so-distant orb. And there's so much more that is out there for us to reach for and to go for, and the time is now, and we need to continue to inspire the next generation of scientists, engineers, I'd like to say artists, to continue the effort to explore. And I think that's what my film is about. This began as my thesis film at American University. I just got my MFA there, graduated in December, and I got to be honest with you, I wasn't convinced when I started this project that the space program was really doing much for me. So I came at this as a skeptic, as someone who really hadn't been paying any attention. And it wasn't until I was sitting in front of the TV one night and watching a little bit of HBO, and a gentleman by the name of Bill Maher had a guest on, and his name was Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Maybe some of you have heard of him. And during the discussion, they were talking about the James Webb Space Telescope and how this was going to be the next step, following in the footsteps of Hubble, taking things to the next level, and how there was some debate amongst our leaders as to whether or not this project should continue to be funded, which led to a larger discussion about funding of the space program in general. And as a citizen, when he pointed out that we had spent more money bailing out the banks than we had in the entire 50 years of the space program, then I started to wonder what it was that the space program was actually doing for a guy like me, someone who liked to drive Jeeps and go skiing and go swimming and, liked to make movies, basically. What was the space program doing for me? And so then the bigger question in my mind was, well, if we weren't going to be funding these things, what was going to happen to these kids that wanted to be astronauts? Number one, did we still have those kids if there wasn't this big, vibrant space program for them to witness and want to aspire to? And number two, if they couldn't achieve those goals, or those goals weren't there for them anymore, what would that mean for me as an ordinary citizen? So I hope that that question is asked, and at least you can think about it when you watch this film. Really, this film is for those that are not yet converted. And I will say that throughout the process of making this film, I've been converted. I now consider myself a staunch space advocate, and there's still much more that I need to learn. This is my journey in understanding, and there are things that aren't there, but I hope to bring to the next project. I was honored to have this film premiere on the International Space Station on March 20 of this year. And since then, we have been to the International Space Development Conference. Our friends at Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Aerojet Rocketdyne, and ATK sponsored us at the 30th Space Symposium in Colorado Springs. We were at I think I failed to mention, the Humans to Mars Summit in Washington, D.C. I believe that was April. And now we're here. And soon we'll be in Oshkosh, and soon we'll be at Space Camp. And there's so many places that we still need to go. But for now, I just want to introduce my film, I Want to Be an Astronaut, and I hope that you enjoy it. And I want to thank my guests on the panel that are going to be speaking afterwards. And I want to thank the American Astronautical Society, certainly, for bringing me here. And sitting in the second row here is Dan Hendrickson, who works for AIA, and I think maybe you'll recognize someone that looks a little bit like him in the film. And I want to thank you for helping me in my learning curve along the way. So without further ado, I give you my thesis film at American University, I want to be an astronaut. Thank you very much.